majority of Christian believers think that an apocalyptic time found in the final chapter of the Bible, Revelation, lies just ahead on God's prophetic timetable known as the end time. Most believe that 7 seals will be opened that will signal the leading up to the return of Christianity's Messiah. The first 4 seals will reveal the described 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Revelation 6:1-8 says there will be a white horseman, a red horseman, a black horseman, and a pale green horseman. These horsemen appear to represent 4 disastrous set of events that will occur. People have argued over whether the events have already happened or if we're yet to experience them. And there is no consensus on what the 4 riders actually represent, as you'll see. On this program, I'll look at what some of the others say about the horsemen, and then I'll give you my beliefs on them. Some say this horseman is Jesus Christ. Point to scripture that says Christ will return to earth riding a white horse. Others say this is the Antichrist. The Antichrist does try to mimic works that Messiah can do, such as miracles. He seems bent on conquering the world. The white horse and rider represent 3.5 years of peace, followed by 3.5 years of violence. The bow he carries can represent violence as he wages war upon the saints. Some say the white horse represents the worldwide religious system that is ecumenical in position. Some say the red horse represents war. Red equals blood, and blood equals war. Many believe the red horse represents physical war as well as spiritual war. The Antichrist will seek to wage physical war as well as spiritual war. After 3.5 years of peace, he will take the lives of many in a physical and spiritual sense. Although many physical wars have ravaged during Earth's history, none will be as destructive as those that occur in the end times. Some say the black horse represents famine. In some countries, it takes an entire day's wages just to buy a quart of wheat. Balances reveal scarcity. Worldwide famine, as we've seen in Central and Eastern Africa, has killed millions recently. Crop failures and plagues, as they point out, have made the world only more than 1 year away from critical starvation, and the wealthy U.S. is only 2 years away. Some Bible scholars and teachers attribute this famine to the wars that occurred before it. Some say it represents capitalism and conducting of worldwide business and commerce. Many Bible scholars and teachers say this represents radical Islam. Some say the pale green horse could mean pestilence or disease on the earth. Now here is what I believe as a person of Christian faith. The 4 horsemen actually represent 4 major spirits that will be prevalent on the earth in the last years leading up to the return of Messiah. I believe the first 4 seals could have already been opened to a certain extent, so here's what I think about each rider. For a number of years, we can identify the growth of false messiahs, false prophets, doctrines, and the spirit of many antichrists. Another example is the ecumenical movement in the mid-20th century, which many think skewed true biblical truth and moral absolutes in the U.S. Then there's the spirit of many antichrists that the Apostle John warned about. Someday there will actually be the Antichrist individual who will be a dominant world leader during the final 7 years before the return of Messiah. He will enter in peace, but then he conducts horrible war and the worst worldwide persecution ever seen through his Mark of the Beast system. I believe the red horse is the prevalence of communism and socialism around the world since the mid-20th century. First led by the Soviet Union and other Eastern Bloc nations, the red wave has taken footholds in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and of course China. Communism killed over 120 million people in just the 20th century alone. Today, China has become a dominant superpower in the world, where religious persecution has resulted in untold millions of Muslims and Christians being imprisoned. The notorious black horse signifies, in my thinking, the deadly scourges of famine, pestilence, and plagues. We've seen in Central and Eastern Africa devastating famines because of serious crop failures. The COVID-19 pandemic created worldwide lockdowns that have threatened starvation for upwards of 200 million people living in third world countries because of closed businesses and little to no income. In most of the world, populations are only about a year away from critical starvation. I believe the pale green horse, or people with a look of ashen dead bodies without blood, is actually a combination of events. Most noteworthy is horrific war. Revelation 9:13-19 describes the soon-coming 6th trumpet war, that is a worldwide war, resulting in the killing of 1/3 of mankind. This will result in over 2 billion people dying. We've seen recently massive worldwide famine and pestilence, and I believe there is a spirit of depopulation on the earth going on now, driven by demonic spirits, resulting in eugenics programs through multiple means. Some depopulation proponents are on record for wanting to reduce world population by 80 to 90%. There you have it, my take on what the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse represent. You may have different ideas. This is H.A. Graves.